Joining us live from Nairobi is Peter Herbert. He is the co-chair at Bandung, Africa, and the Society of Black Lawyers. Thanks so much for coming on the News Hour. Will these sanctions from the US be something that actually bothers affected ICC officials or indeed impacts the case against Netanyahu and Gallant in any way?
Well, I think it has. The statements from the CC already said that it's a direct threat to their international authority. And the targeting of individuals who are salaried and working within their terms of reference are abhorrent, and targeting their families is even more disgraceful. So yes, it will have an impact. The extent to which it does remains to be seen. But the US, and Trump in particular, has clearly no respect for international law, and neither does the surrogate Zionist leader Netanyahu. The US prides itself on the rule of law, but this president, and not surprisingly, has shown as a felon, convicted felon. Netanyahu, who is also awaiting trial on numerous fraud and corruption charges within the state of Israel, has shown they have scant regard for international law or even the law of their own jurisdiction. But sadly, yes, it will have an impact, but I would hope that the ICC members of staff, their families, hold firm and do what their job is to uphold the rule of law internationally.
I suppose we have this sort of strange situation where the people in charge of looking into, investigating and enforcing international law are themselves becoming the subject, if you like, of legal actions by the US. I suppose they could recuse themselves from the trial or indeed resign from the ICC if they felt that these sanctions were simply too onerous. Do you expect them to do that?
I think that's an individual choice. Obviously, clearly for people who are US citizens, who have their children at school or in university in the US, they will have hard choices to make. But I think the days in which a pariah state like Israel can dictate what the international rule of law should be is disgraceful. And Trump, you'll recall, is seeking to target those that prosecuted the January 6th insurgency. In any other country, that was clearly an attempted coup. And he's going after the FBI investigators. So his playbook is to demonize everybody who is not his ally or friend or supporter. And clearly Netanyahu and his defense minister are under a lawful arrest warrant, and I hope that is maintained. They deserve to be put on trial, and the state of Israel has to be held account. It is absolutely no good wringing your hands over Holocaust Memorial Day one day and the next day committing the very same atrocities yourself.
Peter, just as I'm speaking to you, we're getting a statement from the ICC condemning the US executive order and saying the court stands firmly by its personnel and pledges to continue providing justice and hope to millions of innocent victims around the world. I suppose beyond this one case involving Netanyahu and Gallant, what do you expect the impact to be and the message to be that these sanctions send beyond this one case?
Well, I think beyond the one case is the fact that Israel as an apartheid racist state has now been exposed for the pariah that it is. And all its litany of crimes on the West Bank and in Gaza are now on public view throughout the world. The US suggests, certainly Trump suggests, it's okay to send 2,000-pound bombs to destroy civilians in Gaza, and then offers to turn it into the Riviera of the Middle East. I mean, something which is deeply hypocritical. It's almost like suggesting the concentration camps should be tourist attractions run by Disney. I mean, it's just appalling. So, and the wider consequences are America's state in the world, its moral and legal leadership, which it claimed to promote, will fall into abeyance. You cannot surrender the rule of law on the one hand, and they complain about the invasion of Ukraine by Putin on the other. The two do not go together. And so whether it's Taiwan or Afghanistan or Iraq, anywhere in the world where atrocities and human rights abuses occur, the United States has virtually got nothing to say.
Peter Herbert, thank you so much for your input on the News Hour today. Really interesting stuff. Really appreciate your presence. All right,
Thank you for having me.